Hello, devotional goddess here. Today I'm going to talk about forgiveness. And I'm quite excited. I got a new phone, so my goodness, the quality is so much sharper. Maybe a little less forgiving, but that's okay. Always humbling. All right, so forgiveness. So last night, the girls were at their dad's, so I had the night, and it's like, oh, I love those days where I can just have a long stretch of time to myself, 24 hours or whatever it is. And I've always cherished that time since the beginning where the girls lived in two homes. And I made a conscious decision to enjoy my alone time. I didn't want to be pining and, yearning for the girls when they weren't with me. I wanted to celebrate their time with their father, and I wanted me to be able to celebrate my time for me, because we do give so much in parenthood that reclaiming our time is so important. Now, last night I got caught up in those TV series, and before I knew it, it was nearly midnight, and I rarely do that. And today is a half day where I have to pick the girls up from school around lunchtime, and I started to beat myself up a bit of like, that was so irresponsible. You're going to be exhausted tomorrow. You're not going to have the time or the energy to get the things done before the girls come. And then I won't be so present when I'm with the girls. So just witnessing that beginning of that berating dialogue, when I put my head on the pillow, it was like, I forgive myself. It's fine. You can, once in a blue moon, go a little over the top and going to bed late, and that's what it is for me. Ideally, I go to bed an awful lot earlier, but it's still that inner rebel, but it actually is something that ultimately sabotages me. So it's finding that place where I can have that middle ground of self-discipline, discernment. And there are times where it's like, no, I'm gonna just let myself be carried along and stay and be caught up in this drama that I'm watching on television. But making peace with that decision. How often do we make decisions that we are not able to find peace with? Now, many, many years ago, I was in a relationship that was not healthy and that was not optimal. And we found ourselves pregnant. And I have always taken the body, pregnancy, child rearing, obviously, as very serious. So I came to a crossroads where, what am I to do? I'm not in a healthy relationship. Ultimately, I chose to terminate the pregnancy. And I know this is controversial, and everyone needs to honor their own journey in their life as to what path we each individually take. Now, prior to that, a colleague of mine had shared with me something called a spiritual abortion, where you drop into meditation and you commune with the spirit and the spirit of the baby, and you have that dialogue. And that's exactly what I did. For many days, I continued to find stillness in my meditation, and I communed with the baby, or with the spirit of the baby. And I said, my love, it is not time for me to bring you into the world at this time. Would it be possible for you to come back another time where I can give you the life of security, stability, maturity that I'm not able to give you at this time, and I'm so sorry I can't. But if it is at all possible, can you come back another time when I can be the mother I aspire to be? Because now I don't feel I would give us the life I wish to give to you. And I can tell you it was a boy, and he kissed me and he gave me permission to move on, and that he will come back. And that gave me the peace, because I'm sure you can relate to. I know, and growing up when I was younger, I knew a fair amount of women who were tortured by this decision and who carried the guilt, and may still carry the guilt, of ending a pregnancy. Because it is one of the hardest decisions you can make, a woman can make, a partnership can make. It can be very hard for the men too. I'm not excluding them. And I was determined that in order to make a decision on which trajectory my life was going to go, I needed to have peace, regardless which direction it went in. So dropping into my meditation, connecting with my heart, my body, and the spirit of the baby were so critical. And I got his blessing. My body, looping back around to this spiritual abortion, what had happened to this colleague of mine, she had had that communion with the spirit, and she naturally miscarried. As the spirit had left the body, it allowed the body then to release. My physical body was not releasing, but I knew I had the permission from spirit. And so I went through the motions of having an abortion. And I continued to see it as a sacred act, and I continued to honor the peace that I had made and the forgiveness of myself for being in that situation, because it had many gifts. As hard and as challenging as it was, it allowed me to connect more deeply with who I am and what it is that I needed for myself, and how I needed to honor myself and my journey. We have all made decisions in our lives. We've all had circumstances in our lives where we may not be at peace with that situation. It doesn't matter if it is something current that you are working with, or if it was something that happened 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. We can still go back and heal and create forgiveness. This is always possible. And as you have heard me say many a time in these recent videos, healing and transformation can happen that much quicker at this time due to the frequencies on the planet. So if you have been aware in your dreamscape, in your emotional beings, if there's something that you're carrying and you're aware that it is a weight, a burden to your soul, to your spirit, to your physical human body, take the time. Take the time to sit, to book an appointment with a mentor, a teacher, whomever. Take that time to give to yourself the ability, the gift of healing. We are human beings. We all have it somewhere within us. The ability to heal and, most likely, guilt, anger, resentment, dissatisfaction. And remember, if there is someone in your environment, in your world, who is triggering any of those emotions, see if you can allow that to be drawn inwards, so that it is allowing you the opportunity to turn inwards and ask yourself within, where does this reside in me? And how can I heal this? I am ready to let this go now. Speaking from experience, there have been many times where people have triggered me. And it has given me an opportunity to enrich my relationship with myself and shed my judgments on myself, my knee-jerk reactions, my anger, my resentment, my sadness. They have given me the opportunity, by being present in my life and triggering me, for me to take that finger that points outwards and says, it's your fault. And I've been able to turn it inwards and say, where do you live in me, and how? How do I heal this? I want to release this. And believe me, that desire for healing, that desire for change is the step to healing, to transformation. And there have been times when I have gone through that healing and that transformation, and it literally was that I had released a backpack that I felt I had been carrying for quite a long while. And the process of the healing, the journey of the healing, allowed me to be lighter and yet more grounded on this physical earthly plane. So know that that healing can allow for that twofold quality of greater grounding and greater lightness in your being at the same time. As of April, I will be opening some slots, maybe the end of March. Check my calendar out and have a look, but I will be opening up 2 or 3, maybe 4 coaching sessions a week. If any of this resonates with you and you feel drawn to work with me, book a session. It would be my absolute pleasure and honor to assist you on your journey. Knowing that I am here just to facilitate and hold the space for healing, but it is in fact you who are facilitating and creating the healing within you. Remember that, whomever you work with, do not hand your power over to them to fix you. Only you can do that. And your willingness and your desire to do so. The person you are working with is there to support the healing, but not to create it. That can only happen within you and with your own initiation of that change and that transformation. Many blessings, much love, and invite in the forgiveness, large and small, even as small as sitting up too late, watching TV, and not being your best person the next day. Because on the great scheme of things, that's not a massive, but it is still something that can weigh on you and can niggle and can be another way that you put yourself down. And you are worth so much more than that. And if I can support you in any way for you to discover your greatness, your beauty, your magnificence, your uniqueness, and support you in celebrating you, it is always my pleasure to do so. Much love, many blessings, and namaste.